Hi guys, my name is Mark Todd. This is Mark Said Art. Today we're going to be doing a WLOP. Very excited about that one because I'd say right now he's my favorite digital artist. That's WLOP. Just assuming it's pronounced that way. I could be wrong. He does a really good job when it comes to colors. You'll see in this picture that even though you can't see the sand or anything else, it's clearly in a desert just from the bounce light. Some people tell you that a shadow is supposed to be blue or purple or something like that. That is not true. Shadows can be any color depending on the environmental light. The golden sunset, you would not have a blue shadow. In this case, you've got all the sand and everything. You're getting bounce light from that sand. Now, I'm not going to pick his exact color choices on everything, but I'm going to still stay pretty true because it is a study. I've started with the gray because we're just doing the values first, or black and white. I lightly sanded it. Normally, this is not a problem on mediums, but it is a problem on oil. It started to have the oil seep in and leave dull spots in the painting. Luckily, I was able to fix this. That is something to keep in mind. I actually don't have as much experience with oil paint. The one by Sam Does Arts and this one are actually my first completed portraits in oil. I've played with oil and I started another portrait in oil to get a feel for it, but I had a little bit of a learning experience with it. This is also the first time I've used this brand of oil paint. It's a much higher quality than the last one, which was a student grade paint. The beginning of the painting is not that important. A lot of it's just getting down colors, just getting things on your canvas or on whatever it is you're painting on. Don't worry about perfection at this stage. Just try to get things in the direction you want to be going. Don't be afraid to put paint on the canvas. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. A lot of times when you're watching people on YouTube, they're just kind of doing everything perfect, beginning to end. And part of that can be editing. Part of it could be they've done it a lot of times. You shouldn't expect that on everything. Even the best artists or the best anyone, they have failures. Professional NBA players miss shots. People miss things. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to have those mistakes out there either. When you're doing things, try not to fret too much about it. On the paint, there is some learning curve. So I put down the values first, and then I put down a glaze. As I was glazing it, I found the colors were not what I thought they were going to be when I started spreading them and layering them. Fortunately, this is not like that super cringy thing you did years ago that your brain decides to remind you of when you're really sleepy and trying to go to bed at night and you just can't get over it even though no one else remembers it. Luckily in art, if we don't like something, we just paint over it. At first, it's not going to look very good, but you just got to trust the process. In this, WLOP does a good job, as I mentioned before, with his colors. We can definitely see the direction of the more intense light from the upper left side, and we can see the shadows toward the bottom right. In his, he does a lot of bounce light from sand. There's a lot of it in the sky. Even though I'm not familiar with the story that he's writing here, it's clearly in a desert scene. That's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to tell people about the environment through your characters, through your paintings, without them even be able to see it. Now, that's not always possible, depending, but you want to tell as much of the story as you can. I am not doing it the exact same way. You're going to see some color changes here because there is sunlight as I'm painting this. If you're doing things traditionally, you really do want a dark room with just pure light because the paint will change color a lot depending on the environment. Where somebody hangs a painting will completely change the light that's bouncing off of it, which will change everything on how it looks. The colors you're seeing right now aren't actually that true. Part of that is the camera, the mode the camera is on, and the lighting selections weren't selected very well. At the end of the painting, you're going to see it taken in true lighting and see how it looks. Not necessarily everything is exactly how it would look in real life, but that's okay. In art, we want to embellish. We want to convey that story. We want to tell something there. All these different tricks are good ways to pull in a picture. Okay, now I know that you can't follow every single channel out there, but next time you are thinking about adding another channel, think about this channel. There's a video before this on a Sam Does Arts. If you haven't seen it yet, the next video after this, we're going to be doing kind of a conclusion on digital art versus traditional art and some of my final thoughts. You're also more than welcome to make any of your own comments you wish to make. Through here, we're glazing the hair. You can see through the hair. And this is one of the nice things on glazing, that you can get that transparency. It's similar in digital art. Digital art also has transparencies. It's important to realize that digital art, for the most part, is mimicking traditional art. If you're used to digital art, a lot of these things you do, these features, are traditional methods. When we're going through and we're adding all the specks, all the particles in the air, it's again the reflections. Next to the earring, we're going to see a lot of green. We're going to see the colors of more yellow through the body, reds, all sorts of different colors as it goes through. This is under the true lighting, and here's the comparison. In WLOP's picture, as I said, he's using a little bit more yellow, and I used a little bit more of the blues and purples. Painting, though, don't feel like you have to do it the exact same way. It's just like I said, if somebody's teaching the alphabet, don't think you need to copy their handwriting. You just need to have the same lettering. And that's going to be one of the better ways to study. Try not to get too caught up in the exact way other people do things.